friends and families. Thank you for joining us for the second part of our reading lesson. And for the second part of our reading lesson today, we're going to read a brand new book. And this brand new book is called The Story of Ferdinand. The author of the book is Munro Leaf, and the illustrator is Robert Lawson. Do you remember the job of the author and illustrator? That's right, the author writes all the words in the book, and the illustrator draws all of the pictures. When we read this book today, we want to think about the different story elements. And when we talk about story elements, we talk about 4 things. We talk about the characters. Do you remember what a character is? That's right, a character is a person or an animal. We also talk about the setting. Do you remember what a setting is? That's right, a setting is where or when a story takes place. Then we're going to talk about the problem. Do you remember what a problem is? That's right, a problem is when it doesn't go our way. And a solution means the opposite. It means something completely different than a problem. That's the 4th element we're going to talk about. What's a solution? That's right, a solution is when it does go our way and our problem is solved. So as we read our book today, and I guess Ivy decided to join us. As we read our book today, we're going to think about all these different story elements. Let's look at the cover before we open our book. What do you see on the cover? Yeah, I see an animal. This is called a bull. And what is he doing? It looks like he's sniffing flowers. That's kind of silly. Have you ever seen a bull sniff flowers before? Me neither. But I guess this bull must seem to like it. Do you think this bull can be Ferdinand? I think so too. So let's find out why this silly bull is sniffing flowers. We're going to open up a book, go past the, that's right, title page. And now we're ready for our story. Now scoot this a little closer so you can see. All right, here we go. Once upon a time in Spain. Do you know what Spain is? Spain is a country in Europe. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to finish learning about all of our continents yet, but we will, and we'll learn all about Europe. It has a lot of castles in the continent as well. So already from the first page, we know the setting of the story is Europe, but more specific, it's in Spain. There was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. Does it look like Ferdinand likes to do any of that stuff? You're right, it looks like he likes to smell the flowers. These are all his friends over here. But not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Do you have a favorite spot that you like to go to? Wow, those all sound like nice spots. So you have a favorite spot just like Ferdinand does. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome, all by himself. Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head, she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. I like it better here, where I could sit just quietly and smell the flowers. So it sounds like Ferdinand's mom was upset because she was worried about Ferdinand being lonely. But do you think Ferdinand enjoys sniffing the flowers? I think so too. It doesn't sound to me like he minds being by himself. His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him sit just there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. So this is Ferdinand now. This was him on the previous page, the last page that we read. Does this little cow look the same as this big bull right here? That's right, they look a lot different. This bull looks much stronger. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Mandred. So it sounds like Ferdinand's other friends have continued to fight, but it doesn't really sound like Ferdinand has chosen to do this with his friends. And we're going to find out what a bullfight is. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Mandred. Uh-oh. Do you know what a bullfight is? A bullfight is when a bull goes into a big arena. An arena is kind of like a big circle, and it's kind of fenced in. And the bull will sometimes fight with other bulls. It's kind of like he's playing. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. So it sounds like Ferdinand's friends were all showing off. They're showing that they were strong. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went to his favorite cork tree to sit down. And why didn't Ferdinand want to be picked? That's right, because Ferdinand would rather smell the flowers. Uh-oh. You know what this is in the picture? That's right, it's a bee. Uh-oh. I wonder what's going to happen. Ferdinand didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Uh-oh. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him, and that is just what this bee did to Fernando. Oh my, how does Fernando look in this picture? That's right, he doesn't look very happy to me. He looks like he's hurt. Wow! Did it hurt? Fernando jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snoring, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. Does he look a little crazy to you? Yeah, his eyes are really big and he's jumping all about. The 5 men saw him and they all shouted with joy. He was the largest and fiercest bull of all. Just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. Uh-oh. Is that what Ferdinand wanted? Did he want to fight in the bullfights? No, he didn't. But he's showing all these men that he's really tough. So they took him away for the bullfights in a cart. What a day it was! Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. So this is a better picture of what a bullfight looks like. It's kind of like circular shape. All the people are watching from the sides. What do you think Fernando might do? Let's find out. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the bandoliers with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make them mad. Uh-oh. Next came the pacadors who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Ooh. So here's the parade of everybody coming in to see Ferdinand in the bullfight. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword, and he was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. Ferdinand's coming out of that little cave right there. Can you see how he looks in that picture? How does he look to you? Hey, he looks a little nervous. I can't blame him. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the bandoliers were afraid of him, and the pacadors were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. Do you think that's what Ferdinand's going to do? Do you think he's going to fight fiercely like that? Yeah, I don't think so either, but let's see. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely ladies' hairs, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled, and the bandoliers were mad, and the pacadors were madder, and the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off his cape and sword. So they had to take Fernando home. Do you think that's what Fernando wanted? He just wanted to go home? I think so too. I think he just wanted to be at home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. What a nice story. Thank you for reading that story with us, friends. Now, we're going to talk very briefly about our story elements. Let's talk about the characters first. Who were the characters in this story? Let's look back at our picture clues. The characters, remember, are what? That's right, the people or animals. Who are the people and animals in this story? That's right, we had several different characters. We had Ferdinand. He would be called the main character. He's the most important character in the story. We had Ferdinand's mom. Oh, hang on, that's not the picture I was going for. We had Ferdinand's mom. We had, who else? Who was at the beginning of the story? That's right, we had all of Ferdinand's boyfriends. And then who did we have towards the end of the story? Who came? That's right, the men. The men came. So they were also characters in the story. So we had like 4 different characters in our story. And we already talked about the setting. We said the setting was Spain. Did the story tell us when it took place? Yeah, I don't remember them really talking about a time or the day. But if you look at the pictures, do you think that this book took place during the day or at nighttime? I think it took place during the daytime too. What makes you think that? That's right, because it looks kind of sunny outside. So that makes me think that it's during the daytime. What was the problem in the story? You remember what a problem is? That's right, when it doesn't go our way. What didn't go our way in this story? That's right, Ferdinand really enjoyed sniffing the flowers. But then men came along, and what did they want to do? That's right, they wanted Ferdinand to fight in the bull ring. How did Ferdinand solve his problem at the end of the story? That's right, he was in the bull ring and he smelt all of these flowers. And that's all he wanted to do. So what did the men do? That's right, they took him home. They took him home because he didn't want to fight like they wanted him to. Alright, and that's the end of our reading lesson. So thank you so much, friends, who are watching part 1 and 2 of our reading lesson. Make sure to drop a comment and a like on our video so that we can count your attendance and participation. And stay tuned for our math video.